and t-shirts.
Typifies, and it has no connection with what a criminal department as SARS ought to be. Now, going by the position of the Inspector General of Police, yes, all of these have been taken care of. In criminal study analysis. It's just unfortunate that there is a huge vacuum between what ought to be of our police system and what we are experiencing presently. You see, one important thing is that just like in the university also, we were also taught how to reform a decayed policing system. And then the solution is also through the word reformed, through the word reform, and then how we represent recruitment process. We were doing, it is understood that the recruitment process of, bringing in or placing security personnel is as important as what you expect of them.
So you don't just recruit people from the street?
You don't just recruit people from the street. And then I can say it categorically on here, Tomisi, that most of the police officers that we have today in Nigeria are recruited based on political compensation. You see, if you are very organic with your community or with your own town and how they do things, you see how politicians even give slots to get recruited into the police sector. If you are a politician, you see how they share police form during political meetings without recourse to the need, the intention, the perception of the person you want to recruit into securing lives and property of the people.
So are you saying that recruitment should not be part of our sharing formula? Because every time there is a job, we just share.
You see, even if we are going to share whatever, there should be a limitation. It should not include strategic, sectors like security. Security is so much important. And you see, and that is why I question.
Our politicians would agree to what
I have said it in the master's class that for any police officer who says that he or she is not earning much, that person is not qualified enough to be a security personnel. You see, because there is no relationship between what you earn and
it's like doing the job that we do. We do this job not because of what we earn, but because we have a passion.
Because of the passion, Tomisi.
No. But I beg to disagree with you somewhere there, because when you work, there should be some sort of job fulfillment. When you don't have, when you feel that your pay, you work to get a pay. Yes, passion, we understand that, yes, you have to do what you have a passion for. But then, no matter what form of passion you have, your passion, having passion for the job does not mean you should do it free of charge or to be less paid or underpaid rather. That will bring food to your table.
You see, I wouldn't know, because I am more organic in my community, or because I go on a lot of field study. You see people in different communities voluntarily providing security. You see local vigilantes. You see people who
putting their lives on the line while other people are slaves.
Of course, you see people who control traffic without being paid, without being under government payroll, without having any economic expectation. You see, security is premised on patriotism. You see, and that is why you do not expect. You see, it's a different sector. How we must give it that importance. We must give it that peculiarity.
Which means, let me just cut your thought a bit. Which means, from the inception, we got it
wrong. From the recruitment,
a lot of people are going into that profession. Exactly, and some people would even
work
say,
for me during the my useful and all that.
No. Some people would even go into it as the last option.
Yes.
Well, I don't have an option.
And I need to really,
and these are the people who, when they get into it, they wear the perception of extortion, bribery, and brutality, if that will, fend their means. So we must get our recruitment process very well, and then give it. You see, I'm into academics. I love it not because of what I am getting from it, but because of the passion. You are a journalist not because of what you've been paid, but because of the passion. We must introduce that professionalism, ethic into security, so that it will not, just like she has rightly said, it will not be a last resort. Or it's not going to be a job for frustrated graduates who are desperate to get placed somewhere. And it's not going to be, unharbored for political talks. Because these are the people you find that saturate the police system. So we must get our recruitment process very well. Education is also very, very important. I was saying it yesterday, maybe because I was overwhelmed, by virtue of my love for education. I said it that maybe we should carry out some study and find out how many university graduates do we have amongst these people who carry out this brutality and extrajudicial killing. I want to predict that very few of them
are graduates, and even if they must have been cultists in school.
You see, even cultists do not carry out crimes like this. Cultism, terrorism, insurgency, their activities and operations is premised within the context of clandestine. But when you see people coming out barefaced, boastfully, shooting at another person unarmed, and then, just standing that nothing will happen to them.
But that's threatening you to your face with a gun.
That's the height and apogee of animal behavior. These people do not have sufficient education, and for those who have, it's not even, they do not have sufficient education. They are either drop out, they are either people,
because I do not see you adding value for the fact that the parents
who cannot go through the university.
And then you just look at
maybe because I'm overwhelmed by virtue of my.
I beg to disagree, because you have a lot of people that went to school didn't go through them. A lot of people they are educated illiterates. I bet you we have them in our society.
I agree with you.
You see some people. I don't want to. I'm not really going to put it into tertiary education or something, because it's a function of who you are. You see some people, they act in some sort of way, and you begin to wonder. This morning, Thomas, let me give you an instance. I was to drive out of my compound, and somebody parked outside, just blocked the gate, and the person came around and was trying to prove to me
why he has the right to block the gate. That's why, now, if we go back to the point of education here, are we saying that education up to secondary school level, or are we saying that
I am saying higher tertiary education. You see, education.
Well, isn't the police academy supposed to equate to that? Aren't they supposed to go through some rigorous academic work over there?
That is that. I just three or 4 days ago, I requested the curriculum of what they do at the police academy, and I can tell you for a fact that it is not what it ought to be. There are certain courses that needed to be introduced: fundamental human rights, democracy, a lot of courses. Because education implicitly trains. It's something you
Even
cannot
at
say.
their level, even in their institution.
Even in their institution, and they should have some, and they should not be limited to their institution, and because that could also be counterproductive. They need, you see, the university. One interesting thing about the university is that you find everything that happens within the universe inside the university. You find people who are in discipline, that are disciplined to get reformed to another thing. You find people of your same ethnic group, you find people of your same ideology, and you find people that have differences to all of these things. So in the university, when you come out from that environment, something implicitly, you may not see it. Sometimes even you that you are a university graduate, you carry out this behavior unconsciously. You see, unconsciously. So I want to say, and I want to insist.
He's just giving his
and I want to insist that education, higher education, if possible. I'm sorry, I don't want to sound sentimental to other people from the polytechnics or whatever. If possible, university education is very, very important. Police academy can have affiliation with different universities. Education is important. These people, I want to believe that they are educated. They have university education. I don't want maybe you should carry out a field study.
Okay, let's move to the next.
Maybe you should carry out a field study. And then Tommy said we must also look into retraining. And also,
yes, I agree.
We must also look into retraining. University also come into this. Exposure, international experience also come into this. The last but not the least in this reformed is deterrence. Deterrence is very, very important. Because if people are not punished, those who are not punished excessively, there's not going to be any hygiene in the system. But that should not also leave us out of monitoring. Monitoring is also one of, it represents the aim in reformed. You see, so monitoring is also very, very important.
So that's something that we really have.
Because monitoring actually saved a lot of us. Monitoring saved my own, being killed. And based on your own experience, monitoring also came in. Based on our own experience that you have to call some people, monitoring also. So we need to also ensure that we have an effective and efficient monitoring system. So if we put all of this, the functional and organizational framework is also important to me. These people do not even know what they are supposed to do. They don't know their role. Just like you said that offline, that are they also to chase Yahoo boys? Yeah, I want to agree that they also need to chase Yahoo boys because Yahoo or what have you
is some form of robbery.
Is also a form of robbery.
Yes,
but the manner and methodology at which they carry out this is also very, very important. And this can be co-opted within the context of functional and organizational framework. So if all of these are achieved, I want to prognosticate that we are going to have an hygiene police reform system.
We are preferring solutions this morning, and the major point is that we want to find a permanent solution to the strike that we have been experiencing over time. We have gone time and time again with protest upon protest, but we have preferred solutions. How do we put an end to the protest? How do we put an end to the blockage of the roads? How do we put an end to the police brutality? How do we put an end to everything that we do not like about our current policing system? The onus, of course, lies, the bulk of the responsibility is on the table of government. But we're back here, and it's still the bumper breakfast. If you're joining us for the first time, you get to watch this Mondays through Fridays. And of course, I'm also allowing our guest this morning to take a breather. This is what we're going to do. You can join the conversation. Send us a text message No calls. Text message and the number 08093962299. You can join the conversation, tell us your thoughts about what we're discussing this morning. The number again, 08093962299. Now, our next conversation centers around some group of people who have decided to perpetually continue to go on strike. I mean, I spent my first year in the university at home because they were on strike. I spent my second year in the university. I spent about 5 months at home because they were on strike. And then my final year in the university, I spent another 6 months at home because they were on strike. And then today, they are still very much on strike. Coincidentally, our guest is very, 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 very steeped in the educational system. Please, after PhD, the next one is for you to write papers and become a professor. Because when you become a professor, I'm sure that you will still go to study another course, right? You will start again. Because I know Azim wants to be a doctor, wants to be an accountant, wants to be a lawyer, he just loves to read and all of that. But anyway, we're talking about ASUU today, and the Senate leadership met with ASUU, and they're trying to wade into the matter between ASUU and the federal government. That strike has continued for too long. What do you think?
Yeah, the strike has continued for too long. Is a perennial thing. It's keep on reoccurring.
I like the fact that you would use the word perennial.
Yeah, it keep on reoccurring, and then unfortunately, this time around, much of the blame is on our teachers. They should pardon me. Anyway, in some platforms that I belong to, they know my stand. You get back to they know my stand, and I am not going to compromise my stand on this. ASUU need to have a change of mind. It's very, very important. Because one of those things that we were taught in school by our teachers, our erudite professors, is that no organization or system can productively work without accountability, probity, and transparency. This is exactly what the federal government have come to introduce into the system. So it sounds, or I find it rather unbelievable that our teachers would stand against what they teach us in the classroom.
Do you think the UTAS, as it's being called, University Transparency and Accountability Solution, do you think it's not not transparent?
You see, I looked into the details of UTAS, and I see some kind of loopholes. And I see what our lecturers are trying to, escape. Our teachers are trying to escape and all of that.
You said the word escape. you see, you think they're trying to escape something.
You see, yeah, of course. You see, because if they are not trying to escape, or if there is no attempt to escape,
yes,
then we would not be here today. You see, my program has been stalled because of
their own strike,
and for so many younger, persons. And this current SARS is not unconnected with the ASUU strike. So our teachers are also complicit in this.
If they had engaged people in school,
nobody will be at home. About 40-some percentage of these youths will be in school. They will be in school. So I think that our teachers, our lecturers, they have argued that IPPIS is ineffective. No solution is perfect. What we expect our erudite
lecturers,
teachers, professors to know is that they need to come to the table and discuss how they can be an integral part to promote the efficiency of IPPRS.
Okay. Now, you see, the government has taken its stance that any lecturer not on IPPRS will not be paid, and we know that they are paid those of them that are on and left those that are not on. Do you think that is a good decision? Couldn't they have probably waited for there to be a conclusion on this matter? Because as far as I'm concerned, there's still not a conclusion on this matter. Couldn't they have waited before carrying on?
No, the school officially is reopened. We can go to the school now, but nothing will happen, because the purpose of schooling is to be taught by some people. You see, so if some people, and one other thing that this question takes us to is that between an employer and the employee, who controls the chain of command?
But that's why we have the labor force.
Even within the context of labor.
Because I am an employee. No, I'm just trying to play the devil's advocate here now. Because I am an employee does not mean that I don't have a right.
No, you have a right, but your right is limited to commanding the system. Those who make laws, regulations, rules that guides and shape the conduct of workers, and even we invited guests are top managers of this organization. I or yourself, if you are not a member of that organization, cannot take decision on their behalf. So in this circumstance, even within the circumstance of labor force, I want to think that, you see, that the federal government has the responsibility to make decision with regards to how they want their staff to work.
Now, let me
even in the classroom, our lecturers will tell us that if you don't attend so class, you will not have the opportunity to write examination.
In fact, my lecturer used to say if you wear trousers to my class, you will not be allowed in, and I will conduct a test in your absence.
So in every organization,
my lecturer went as far as, if you wear a wig to my class and wear a weave to my class, you will not write exam.
In every organization.
What did you religious Bible knowledge?
Linguistics.
In every organization.
Maybe you did Bible.
My lecturers, some of my lecturers, I am bold to say, were terrorists. They terrorized us into conforming. The only way you would write exam is for me to wear a rambuba to class. That's the only way. Or I wear a kaftan like a pregnant woman. That's the only thing. As a matter of fact, no makeup, bringing their religious convictions into the classroom. And we were compelled to obey until we spoke up in our final year and wrote a memo. In fact, we wrote a protest letter to the department and told them that particular lecturer must not teach us again. And for 2 years in OAU, he didn't lecture anybody. He sat in his office for 2 years, sitting pretty, not doing anything. Because we rejected him as an entire department. It was my set, it was my department, it was even my executive. I was the leader.
So these people enjoy this overwhelming
authority
and power. And power to command
the students. And now they are commanding the government.
You cannot command
by
your employer. It's not possible. But
if they get away with it, you know what my fear is? If they get away with it, then every staff of the federal government who comes under the level of one association or the other will also propose their own version.
Don't forget that the staff of the Polytechnic, they are also followed suit.
The staff of the colleges of education.
So I think I wouldn't say the federal government should maintain their stand, but I want to, for the sake of hygiene in our system,
sanity, for the sake of our sanity,
of
sanitizing our system.
And then, just recently, when we began to attack some of our, distinguished and erudite professors, and they begin to change the narrative. That it's not about IPPIS. It's about
the agreements that they have,
memorandum of understanding
with the
former government. And so it is
that we don't have money to fund as we speak because we can barely pay their salaries.
So it tells you that our erudite and learned teachers are trying to conspire with the irresponsibility of government. That's a conspiracy of government irresponsibility to hide under the guise of an unsatisfied expectation to pursue their real intention. So I think they insisted anyway that they will not soft pedal even until yesterday. That it is not to IPPIS or they are at home. And federal government also insists that without IPPIS, we would not that we would not, the school is open, we will not pay
your salaries.
They paid some of
don't pay. If you go to a private organization, I think until we begin to run Nigeria, a private organization and a company, we won't get things right.
I mean, they also, our lecturers are also saying that they are not paid. For crying out loud,
you did not work.
Strike is accompanied with sacrifice and not benefits.
As in,
I'm not in support.
As in, are you sure you want to?
You see, interestingly,
as much as I don't support as to unvest.
You expect them to be paid for going on strike?
No. As much as I don't support them, on this IPPIS issue, I don't really want to go for when people go on strike, they are not being paid, because we know the kind of terrain that we find ourselves in, because we're going to gradually move into a slave driving kind of economy, because everybody feels that
it's work not meant to be it's pay not meant to be commensurate to the amount of work done,
and in fact
yes, and throughout the COVID-19 pandemic, despite the fact that they were being paid. Even when people in private organizations were finding it difficult.
And we should also not forget, with all due respect to our teachers, we should also not forget that academics is not limited to public institutions. We also have teachers
in the private institutions.
That
are doing better.
That are doing better, and they are not enjoying benefits
from government.
But they also have right to enjoy benefit from government, because they are also part of the governance environment. So what I am saying is that our distinguished teachers should not take this too far, to that extent that other people from within the sector will start clamoring for some unnecessary demands.
So let's not forget that we have so many graduates in Nigeria who need jobs anyway.
And IPPIS, interestingly, will create more jobs, because some people would not have
the opportunity to be paid in different universities.
So you will stick into just one university, and people like us and other people will have opportunities
to come into the
to
system.
come into other institutions.
Universities.
So
I mean, they have a lot of things to cover.
They have a lot of things to hide.
That's why they really.
But good enough, I am from the University of Ibadan, a very liberal school. So my lecturers, already understood. But interestingly, my very dear mentor is a professor. Till this morning, when he saw that I'll be going on MIT, he told me that I know you are going there to embarrass Hasu. But don't worry, when you come back to Ibadan, we will meet. But I respect my teacher, but on this, I think we need to be very frank with ourselves.
Some messages came in. If we must get it right, let all the police return arms to the armory, get to the barracks, and get officers engaged in other vocational jobs if they want more money. Paul Adeojo sent that one in. Paul, where did you send your message from? Talking about ending SARS, what has the president said? Nothing. I think the people are actually expecting the president to say something.
They have said something.
He has said
something 2 days ago.
2 days ago.
Yes.
No. They want a public. They want an address. They want.
No, he has said something. It
doesn't have to be a formal. My fellow
Nigerians can be really funny.
And it was very unequivocal. It was straight.
Exactly.
That is going to appreciate.
The clamor, the agitation.
And he promised that there is going to be, and he even used the word excessive.
And he even used the word,
excessive.
the fact that, he said that the fact that the SARS has been disbanded is the first form of police reform.
Yes, he said that.
Which is, for me, is key.
It's key. I think it's enough.
Good morning, everyone in the studio. My name is Onyeka from Ikorodu. Based on the announcement of the IGP yesterday, though it's a good one, but I think it would be better if the president does it himself. He has released a statement.
He has released a statement.
He has released a statement. I think people just like to
spoke at the youth
empowerment program. Yeah, it says something.
They were very because it's part of the program. So it should come out.
But it has been cropped out as even.
My fellow Nigerians. I have listened to you guys. I have concerning the protest. No.
Do you know the rest of American president speaks more often on Twitter than even
that he speaks of.
Is the Twitter
He's a Twitter person.
At times I wonder how long he spends. He spends more time on social media than governing the United States of America.
And from people,
and he tweets himself.
They say
he tweets himself. He tweets himself. The language used tells you that he's the one tweeting because he likes words that are very.
But I saw one funny clip online where he was videoed typing, and you can see the seriousness how he's typing.
He tweets himself. Shewa from Ayotoro says, "May God bless Nigeria." Okay, thank you so much.
I just love that. Let's try and be positive because I tell everybody we have our issues too. So many issues. At times you want to say, "Why was I born and deposited in Nigeria?" But then the fact remains that
I love my country.
The fact remains that any other place you find yourself, you are a second-class citizen.
Very true.
And even if you have a dual citizenship, there would always be the one form of racism or the other. When the chips are down, you
need to come back to your country.
You come back home.
You come back home. The green passport, you may despise it, you may not like it, but Hush Puppy had.
But we should also not be under terror by
our own.
Exactly. Yes.
Hush Puppy had the UAE passport, and coincidentally, Nigeria would have been able to say extradite him here. But he went on social media and destroyed his green passport and said he doesn't want, and all that. But so the country he claimed is now dealing with him. Although he, of course, they're dealing with him.
Nigeria,
they will deal with their own criminals. He's one of them, and so they're dealing with him. So it's just like that. I think we should use this opportunity to call on every young person who is going on the street for some form of protest or the other. The time has come for you to take back to your assignments. Stay at home, go to work, and do what you need to do. You have made a point. We have spoken. Everyone has spoken. Nobody is, supporting the brutality. Everybody is speaking against. Everybody is speaking for reforms. But you can do that from the safety of your homes, because 42 people who lost their lives yesterday. It was a matter of, very sad. It was a matter of just trying to make a difference. Coincidentally, they weren't even identified as part of the protesters. And before this is hijacked by thugs and criminal elements. I think it's about time every young person
It's even good if it is hijacked by criminals, not by politicians. Politically motivated crisis revolution is always because they've got facilities.
Exactly. So, and the phone to actually do it. So you need to go back home. You need to stay at home and you need to listen. The president has spoken. If you have not seen the speech, please go to the Twitter handle of the president. NGR president is on Twitter. You can pick it up and listen. You can go to the YouTube. The president has spoken. You can actually go to Lagos State Governor. He has spoken. Every government official you want to speak has spoken. Keep the conversations going, of course, on social media and all of that. Put your demands together, but please do not go on the streets. Let's have sanity in our country. My name is Tomisi Ojo, and that's our show for this morning.
And I am Yinka Kenny. Please stay safe at every point in time and do the best for this country. See you tomorrow.
And Azim, many thanks for joining us this morning. Thank you so much.
I'm going back to my hometown, where we revived you a lot.
Thank you very much for being a part of the show.
Thank you very much.
We see you guys tomorrow bright and early on the Bumper Breakfast. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.